Hi guys, this will be Tarkatan HQ episode 3. This will be going over Berserker, Baraka's third tournament variation. I didn't want to make a day one video when the third variations were released because I wanted to actually play the variation and get a feel for it rather than just what I thought I could do on paper. Especially with the two changes that happened to Berserker and Leg Kebab from when they became just custom moves to tournament moves. So I'll be going over what the variation actually got, whether I think it's good or bad in my opinion, and matchups I think potentially might be a choice for it instead of Marauder and Bone Picker. So we'll go over what we got. Thankfully we got Blade Charge. I thought Baraka without Blade Charge is quite strange. So 16 frame, advancing mid, 12% goes further than Blood Lunge does. And you also have the options to switch sides with it, which is very nice. This also has a crushing blow attached to it for if the opponent blocks late. How that would be implemented would be if in brackets gaps in its rings like 1-1-2, forward 1, forward 2, 1-2, and back 3 and stuff like that. Where there's a flawless block gap, if you read the opponent's going to flawless block, you can do Blade Charge and you'll get a 290 KB. So that option's there. The other thing that we got, which was changed from when it became the custom variation, as I mentioned at the start, was Leg Kebab. And Leg Kebab went from plus 19 down to plus 5. So mid screen, you don't really get the best off it because of the pushback of the move. You can come in, you do have frame advantage if you're trying to advance with something, but really in the corners where you get the can pressure frames by getting a guarantee down 1. Your forward 4 will trade with 7 frame pokes, but the guarantee instead of down 1 can make people maybe get away with stuff, but it's definitely not the monster it was before. But it's still a good move. And the only really mix up with this would come from that string. There's a 2 frame gap, 2 frame fuzzy, so a bit tight, whereas compared to that string there's a 5 frame gap, so a bit easier to fuzzy. It also has a crushing blow attached to it, which is if the opponent blocks high, stand blocking, so they have to actually be blocking, not a counter attacker, and like that have to be stand blocking. The way I've found to implement this so far is, again with brackets flawless block gaps, if someone's trying to flawless block, they generally do it from a standing state if they can. I found, especially with like they're trying to get off an up 2, so that's the only reason why I've caught people with if they're getting ready to do an up 2 and they go to flawless block and then this catches them standing block and then KBs. It also has the option to switch sides but with meter. So that's very nice with the meter burn version. Berserker. This received a good bit of changes as well. Let's do it first. Good thing about this move is corner carry. Great corner carry on the move. Meter burn version also. This has the same crushing blow that Blade Charge has. They're linked. If you do the Blade Charge one, you can't do the Berserker crushing blow, and vice versa. They're both triggered by the same thing of blocking late on the crushing blow. Where that would come into effect is if someone would flawless block the gap in Berserker amplified incorrectly and miss it. But I don't know how often that's going to be hitting, but we'll see. So the thing about Berserker is this. The meter burn version is safe, has -3, but has a flawless block gap. When it's flawless blocked, it then becomes -13, so it can just be punished with a normal and not needed. The opponent doesn't have to come off resources, so you come off a bar to use this move, but the opponent doesn't have to use resources to punish it. They can just punish with a normal. And the normal Berserker is unsafe also. So you can see the last hit of Berserker normal is 10 frames. The last hit of Amplified is 20, so slightly slower than the normal blade charge. So that's a 10 frame gap. So even with the new changes to the flawless block system that are currently here, where you have the 5 frame, where it resets after the 5 frames, you can still cover the meter burn version flawless block and punishing the normal one. So when players get better at this practice, I've been practicing myself, I can get it, you know, put it on random recording like that. It's very possible. I know it's in training mode and in a real game, but it's very, very possible to cover OS to punish the normal one and to flawless block and punish the amplified version. So if NRS would be so kind to make the flawless block version still -3 to make the opponent come off resources to punish it, I think it would be a much better move. And now I'm going to talk about why I think the variation is good or air quotes bad. The first thing off is the corner carry and the unbreakable damage from Amplified Berserker is very nice, 255. Don't know how many people know you can actually break away from Chop Chop, especially with the changes to the buffer system for breakaways. It's even easier to do, but that's true unbreakable damage. The side switch abilities of the variation that has 3 side switch moves. 2 of them do cost meter, but still 3 side switch moves, they're pretty good tools to have. The ability as well to combo off jump kicks easier. Blade charge, easy conversion, borrowed from Bone Picker, and you'll get a side switch which Bone Picker doesn't get from a jump kick. The bad point, I think the main bad point would be the things I mentioned about Berserker. It's a pretty big problem in my opinion. It can be OS, so the longer and the more players lab against this, the better they get against it, and the bigger problem it will become. So that's a major knock against variation, I think. If this was changed, I think it would bring the variation a bit more up to par to Bone Picker and Marauder. Personally, in my opinion, I think Baraka's 3 best abilities are number 1, Baraka Barrage, number 2, Spikes, and then number 3, Gutted. So, comparing the variations, you're missing out on those for what you're getting. I think the Berserker is just maybe needs that bit of improvement. I understand why the leg kebab has changed. I was salty about it at first, but I understand what has changed. And the blade charge is what it is, and it's a good move as well. So I think if that Berserker isn't as far behind as some people saying some of the other characters' third variations are, but I still think there is room for improvement there. As far as matchup wise goes, actually one thing I didn't know if I mentioned about Berserker, off the forward 4-4 KB, if the opponent breakaways both the amplified or normal version can be punished by full combo, so that's a bit of a bad thing as well. With the KBs as well, it's a variation too. The leg kebab one's a bit dodgy to get, to be honest. You have to burn that meter and hope you got it. The blade charge ones, while risky, are possible in situations and will probably hit a bit more than the blood lunge will. But I think Gutted is still the best KB ability move, so Marauder still has that over this. And Spikes, I think, is one of the best anti-airs in the game, if not the best anti-air in the game, so you're losing out on that as well. So, for matchups, as I was saying there, I think at first glance, obviously these matchups have to be explored, but matchups I think where this variation might actually come in handy would be things like character on screen Shang Tsung, Jade, Secheon, possibly Aaron Black, Scarlet, Cassie Cage. I think there is ways where this can fit in to complement both Marauder and Bone Picker. So we'll see as time goes on how much that goes. But the next day or two as well, I'll make a combo video to do with the character to this variation. But the combo path is fairly simple, and it's mostly, do you want to cash out with the extra few points of damage on the meter burn chop chop, or do you want to get corner carry with the amplified Berserker? But I'll still put that video out anyway. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped you and you learned some stuff about Baraka's new tournament variation. Thank you.